Hi, this is Tamara Charisma Blankenship, and kind of new to YouTube. So, uh, just a little bit about me. Spoken word artist named Charisma. Okay. Today, I will be talking about the different memes. Before the music had came on, I'm kind of excited because I finally was able to get this YouTube live the way I wanted it. I've been doing a couple of videos and just experimenting. If you didn't listen to my other video, I used to share memes a lot on Facebook, and it got to the point that I just got tired of typing and being in conversation. I want to start being more, vocal. So what I did was I took the memes from Facebook and I brought it on to YouTube to do power presentations with memes and to talk about it. And I would like to get you as well involved of your perception and opinions on topics that I would be sharing as well as the memes. So like I said today, this video is called Situationship, Relationship, Partnership and Relationship with this Blankenship. And the reason I say that is because we all been in one of or the two or three of them ships, but I feel like a ship is taking you somewhere. It's not just to be set at dock, but to be able to move. So with that being said, um, most men are not running away from a great woman. They are running away from part of themselves. They are not willing to fix within themselves to deserve her. And you know what? That can go both ways. And I wasn't going to use this at first. I was going to use my other means, but since this we're here to show up, let's talk about it. I say the reason it goes both ways because way before I even get into this, sometimes we running away from ourselves. Sometimes we are running from God. And a real relationship really starts with ourselves, even when we as a child. But now grown up into being an adult, sometimes we allow ourselves to get into these relationships that maybe we shouldn't have been in, but because we didn't understand the meaning of relationship, either if you was brought up in a single parent household, either if your parents got divorced, either if one of them had cheated, either if you had just a mother or just a father, or they just both wasn't there. Maybe you had both, and maybe they was fighting and just but whatever it is, it starts with ourselves. So by the time we get into all these different relationships, then when we finally do get into the relationship, we don't know what it is because we never maybe had that example. So we just taking a wing of it to figure, this thing out, you know. But I'm going to kind of get into that, a little bit later. I don't want to jump ahead of myself. But like I said, it's the relationship starts with ourselves, the Lord, then it should be able, because I know God is just, it's about order. And sometimes we disorderly, and then we have to come and go through all those mistakes in order to be able to come back to the beginning, to now know the knowledge and the wisdom that this is the way it should be. But like I said, in your singlehood, that is when we should be able to be healthy within ourselves, before we get into relationship. Okay. So my next meme is, until men and women start having honest conversation about who they are, what demons they battle with, where they lack, and what they truly want, love will continue to be will be a temporary emotion. Honesty and communication is key. Sometimes we have to be honest within ourselves, just like I said before. We have to be honest within ourselves. How can we be honest with ourselves and then to be, honest with somebody else? So sometimes we lying to ourselves and we lying to that person. Sometimes we are telling the truth, but if you're on the receiving end in a relationship and the person said they're not ready, women, listen. He's saying he's not ready. Don't try to force trying to make it be more than what it is, excuse me, when really that's a reflection on you that you're not even ready. Because that's why it goes back to the friendship. You know, you take two broken people to have this relationship when they should be, friends first. And when you're friends and then best friends, then when that person feels comfortable to open up to you, then they'll let your they guards down, if they allow you, and then you could talk about, your childhood together, what you've been through in the wrong relationships. But it takes, someone to be vulnerable within themselves to be able, to do that. And then sometimes we have this wall up, and sometimes we scared to let that wall down, to let that person, because of what somebody else did and the stuff that we haven't dealt with. So then with that, we push that person away, because it's like we want love, but then we push that love, away. So like I said, I only speak from, the females more than guys, because I'm a woman. But I'm just gonna say, from my experience, and I'm the type of person to be transparent and not to put names out there. But the relationships I was in, to my exes, I was broken. They may have, been broken, and it's two broken individual, trying to, men, we was trying to mend ourselves, but we went about it the wrong way, because most relationships, we just jump in being, having sex, just being intimate, and then it clouds our judgment, and then we in this relationship more longer than what it is, or because we dealing with our own demons or whatnot. Then it's that division and that discord. And so that's why I believe even in the Bible it says flee from sexual immorality. And even though the world says I can't help it, I have to get me a piece. So sometimes we have to put our flesh into subjection and have that spirit, mindful, heart to heart relationship. Then then the sex can come, down, later, down the road. But because we are out of order, we can't ask the Lord to bless, some mess, and us, being, messy. But back to, the guys I have dealt with, I didn't always do it right. But you know what? I feel like that for my exes is that, they have came back, to me, and I say, and they apologize, because they was messed up. They was effed up. One had told me a month ago, today's the 23rd of April, so a month ago on the 23rd of March, my ex that I haven't talked to in a while called me up, and he said, "You know what?" He was like, "I was effed up." He was like, "You a good person, you know, and I didn't know how to love you. I even wanted to even, marry you, but because the stuff I was dealing with, I didn't know how to deal with you and your children." And I was just like, wow, but like I said, these men are broken, and and they need healing just as well as us women and stuff. But I say give that person up to God to do the healing, because sometimes we women try to fix these men up, to be their therapist. I'm not saying have his back and be his friend and stuff like that, but sometimes we put on too much when we have to work within ourselves and stuff. So then we let our emotions and feelings get in, and then like I said, you got two people who's broken, trying to fix each other. So we women got to stop fixing these men's up, and let God fix, and allow God to fix ourselves. And then when it's the right time, say if you're supposed to be with that man or slash woman and stuff like that, you'll be more healthier because God was healing, and now he's able to join you together. Even in the Bible, it said, "A man that findeth wife findeth a good thing, I obtain a favor from the Lord." And in another scripture, it said, "When a man leave his mother and father, he cleave to his wife." You know, so once with the relationships, we get into the situationships, and then we have the relationship. But you know what? I know God designed for relationship that leads to marriage is partnership. I believe that marriage is ministry. The world says, well, it's all these divorces, and really haven't seen no good marriages. So what's the point of getting married when people are just gonna get a divorce anyway? But sometimes, do we ever put God in the center of that relationship where we praying together, or we praying apart from each other, and we praying for one another, or we're First Corinthians 13, love is patient, love is kind, that long suffering. But that's only if that the person is designed for you, or if we carry that rib that Adam was. So sometimes we are attached to each other. I say, like, people are meant to be in our life a lifetime, a season, for a reason, or even a lesson. Just think about that. But like I said, I believe that once you in partnership with who God put you to be with, it's about ministry. It's about covenant relationship, with God, that you both come together and you step on the devil's head, because the devil is about division. He's about not he doesn't like unity. And sometimes we be mindful of what we speak out our mouth. Like, I don't need no man, and then at the same time the guys say that too. He's like, why fall in love when I could just be comfortable, dealing with this hoe and stuff like that. And the women, she's saying, I don't need no guy. I'm independent. I ain't need them all this far. And I'm not saying that you need a man or woman to validate you and stuff like that. But like I said, when God is in the center of it, because we all want somebody to love, as long as we loving ourselves and stuff. Now, times, most of us don't, but majority of us do. We want to have that family. We want to be in a relationship, with someone who's going to love us unconditionally, you know, to the men and to the women. But you know, it's a spirit, Jezebel spirit, and I believe Jezebel spirit is not just a man or a woman, but it's a spirit. And sometimes the people who is in a situationship with, we still carry that spirit of that person, and we realize that we can't even move on, because just because you're not having sex with them no more, sexually, but mentally and emotionally, we still dealing with that spirit, to be able to not accept the call of what God has called to be and do, which is, a soul tie. And then we miss the mark to be stagnant, not seek God to lead us to that person to be with, to have ministry in that partnership with. And so, like I said, God is about order, and we have to be in order because I feel like we was just not just brought on this earth just to live and die and then just to work and stuff. I feel like that we all have a purpose, even if we did things on purpose. But I feel like it all ties together, to that person, to your individual self, and to God. But the next meme. Uh, I'm going to show because I just went on start talking, and I was going to do meme by meme. Relationships get stronger when both are willing to understand mistakes and forgive each other. Forgive that person who hurt you. Forgive them. It's not for them. It's for you. And you like, for me, yes, for you, because we hold our blessings up if we don't forgive the people from our past in order to live in the present, to move forward. What we speak out of our mouth, we're going to either speak life or we're going to speak death. And sometimes we have to speak things, no, not what they are, or or were. We have to speak. Even we have to take that leap of faith, and we have to speak to be like, you know what? I am worthy. I am a woman or a man, a child of God. I deserve God's best. I deserve to be happy. We sometimes act out on how we feel. So, men, you are kings in the making. Women, you are queens in the making. Even though you maybe wasn't at first because of the mistakes and me and the mistakes you have made with that person, and now carrying that person's, spirit, and the spirits that you already had within yourself. So like I said, you are somebody. Don't let the devil lie to you for you to stay stuck. You are somebody to make a difference, to make an impact, and not just to impress. And I'm just here. If nobody not haven't told you that, I'm here to tell you that, because I used to think that I was unworthy. I knew I was worthy, but I settled because of my own insecurities. Just to want to have somebody to love when I had to love myself. So I didn't set standards, and then now I had to pay the price for it. But now whoever God has for me, and because he's been healing with me and he's been dealing with me, and like I said, I'm tired of the kissing the toes and hoping he turned into a prince. But like I said, God can turn that prince into a king. But let God, we women, we got to stop trying to control and try to be the man. And we have to learn how to submit, but only submit to that man who's submitting to God. Sometimes we submitting to a man and he don't even know where he's going, because he have, like I said, he haven't, submitted. So submission is both ways. And like I said, women, when you find that man to submit and to be committed to you, and it leads to, eventually to marriage and that commitment, let him lead. We got to learn our roles as women just as well as men have to learn their roles and stuff. And if you don't know your role, now you know. Like I said, read your Bible to kind of get instruction. We can't be like, yeah, I'm leading and stuff like that, but we don't have the blueprint of what it means to really submit. And the same thing with men, women, when we really don't know how, to submit, or whatever. But yeah, like I said, forgive. And like I said, it's just not for them, it's for us. Because once you forgive, then you be able to let your heart to be open again to, for that next individual. Okay, my next meme. I was gonna do this meme right here, but I'm just gonna come back to that. She work, I work, I spoil her, she spoil me. If she ain't got it, or if he ain't got it, get you a teammate. Get somebody who's on your team. The teamwork makes the dream work. And with that, just use an example, the potato sack race, like I said, find somebody who's not going to slow you down, or somebody who's going to be too far ahead, but somebody who's going to be by your path through thick and thin to be able to grow. And even if they're not ready to endure that race with you, pray for that person. What we don't do now is pray. We don't pray for ourselves. We don't pray for our partner. We don't even pray together. So, may if that person is for you, let God deal with them to bring that person. And if they not, thank them for the lesson they showed you within, and vice versa, and go ahead and just move on and stuff. Because, like I said, everybody in your life is just there for a recent season, a lifetime, or for a lesson. How beautiful it is to find someone who asks for nothing but your company. And I'm not talking about Netflix and chill. I'm talking about somebody that you can be vulnerable with, you could be open with, you can tell them your fears, your dreams, somebody who's going to love you unconditionally. That's some love. Somebody who see the whatever of you that doesn't look so good in the inside, but who's willing to be by your side. But like I said again, sometimes we take so much more of a person when we haven't did the work within ourselves, and sometimes it can be a little bit too much. So sometimes you have to just let that, because like I said, growing up as children, we get adults, and then we don't deal with stuff that we deal with. And that's why I said is, that's important to have a relationship with self, with God. So when he does bring that partner to you, that you can become, as one. And like I said, women, be careful of men out there, because sometimes when we in the inside are our insecurities, we allow people to play on that insecurity. And because we being intimate with them, like I said earlier, we're clouded, but we know, but we just don't want to be alone. Because I have even made that same mistake, and the same thing, of when with men, just as well. That say if they dealt with that Jezebel's, spirit, in a woman, release that. Sometimes we think we over something, but we actually not over it, because we still speaking that spirit that now is on us, and we might end up sounding bitter instead of getting better. So, just think about that, for a moment. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to I think I did the slide already, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that was actually, my first one. So my slide. And okay. Why won't he let you go even though he doesn't want you? Sometimes I say it's that they want to have the cake and eat it too. And it can go both ways. Yeah. And so, okay, and I'm doing the wrong slide, so y'all forgive me. Okay. All right. So, okay. And I did that one. So I guess my slides is out of order. Okay, here we go. This is the slide that I was trying to do. Sorry about that, y'all. Some men can be so toxic to your health, and like I said, it could go either or. They don't want to love you properly, but don't want to let go of you either. The more you give, the less they appreciate, and the minute you have had enough and decided to walk away is when they are ready to love you and treat you right. So you give them a chance in hopes that they've changed, only to realize it was all fake. You find the strength to walk away once more, and here he comes proclaiming his love for you and give you again. The cycle repeats itself until you gather up enough strength to say enough is enough and really cut him out your life. Um, what I say with this, we gotta say what we mean and mean what we say. Because sometimes we playing the games with the person. If God said let go, let go. If God said let go, let God, because He's gonna speak to you. But we have to have an ear to listen of what about this person, and he's going to speak to us as well. But like I said, back to the milk and the cow, we given free samples of milk, and maybe he probably in a way some type of wanted to commit, but we up here playing, house, and we giving we're not allowing them to commit to the cow, or to buy the cow, that we end up breaking our own hearts. And this can go on for 5, 10 years, or so. So it's like, why should I marry you when we didn't already, husband and wife and stuff? But that's when you know that, what, hey, I got to get, out of this. And like I said, sometimes people's, toxicity within ourselves and them is just going to be toxic until one or the other to get healing, so they won't be, toxic. And sometimes man makes the mistake to letting that woman go, but really it's out of love. Especially if she's a good woman, it's out of love, because sometimes you really love somebody, you have to let them go so you won't be able to continue to be, toxic to them because of how you feel about yourself. But like I said, the men, you are a man of God, and I just pray that he heals your heart. Just like what I had said about my ex earlier, that he admitted that he was toxic, but I told her, I said, it wasn't you, it's me as well. But we both was toxic to each other, trying to, love on each other. Not saying that that makes you a bad person, but hurt people, you know. So, my next slide is, let's see, it is, you need a man or a woman will commit to you and love you right at all times, not only when you decide to walk away. He sabotaged your relationship by being distant, unreliable, lying, cheating because he's afraid of commitment. Grown men don't play games, string you along, or entertain other women. You will know when you have found a real man and a true gentleman, because there will be no guessing, no anxiety, no competition. He will make sure that you are safe and loved. If the man you are with only wants to love you when he is threatened with your absence, he is not the man for you. A man will only do what you allow. Stop believing what he says and pay attention to what he does. If he really wanted you, he would treat you like he doesn't want to lose you, not the opposite. Sometimes we let the good thing go away when we know that was that person, but because we wasn't ready for them. And it kind of remind me of R. Kelly when a woman's fed up. And then when she go on with her life and she doing everything, then that's what seems like he want her, and stuff like that, because he's not willing to lose her. But like I said, sometimes we make it, too convenient to to be that ride or die, when we have to die to our own sins, our own self, in order to live again. But like I said, every situation is different when it comes to relationships. And let's see, I think I did that. But I'm just gonna go ahead and close out with this. I want us to be able to get, more dialogue, but the more I keep on doing videos, you know, I would like people to be able to subscribe to my channel, and to be able to talk dialogue. Alrighty. So, with that being said, thank you for listening to Spoken Word Mini Stories Ministries Incorporated. And again, I don't know if you heard me over the music, but thank you for listening to Spoken Word Mini Stories Ministries Incorporated. Spoken Word, that's my YouTube. Spoken Word, artist name, Charisma. And like I was saying before, the more people subscribe, the more we could talk about different dialogues of topics, and to be able to have solutions to problems, because everybody can talk about the problem, but what are you doing with the problem? Not trying to save a hoe or save a man, but save yourself and let God save you. And then things will start coming together to kind of make sense of why you had to go through this. And now because you went through this mess. Now this is your message. So like I said, I'm a type of person who's transparent, and I can speak kind of on both ends because I was here, but now I'm here. If that makes sense to you. And also, if you would like to get in contact with me, you can give me a call. You can rewind this video to get my contact information, because I'm just not a person who just online just to speak. But if you have a problem, I would like to speak to you as well. Maybe, pray for you or whatever. So until then, bye bye.